everybody, Deathstalker here. Again, it's still winter, not much else to do except sit here and look at my bike. The one I'm looking at right now is actually my wife's bike. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos where people have been cut off and almost run off the road, in some cases actually run off the road. And the one thing I think we all pretty much agree is that the horns on our motorcycles suck. And I mean suck in cap letters. And for the last couple of years I've been using a different type of horn on my bike. It's actually called a Freeway blaster. And I thought I'd bring it out and show it to you so you get an idea of how it sounds. So the first thing I actually did was I actually had to dig out the old standard horn that came with my wife's bike and put it back on so we can actually hear, you know, how anemic our motorcycle horns sound as a comparison. So this is the stock Honda horn on my wife's Shadow. So, as you pretty well can tell, that is crap. Anybody in their car nowadays, with the cars being so well insulated and whatnot, the stereo blasting, they're not going to hear that. They probably won't even hear the scraping of your motorcycle against the body of their car as they run you over. So, I'm really surprised that the manufacturers haven't produced a better horn. It's not like the technology didn't exist. But some of the aftermarket people have. So, I'm going to put a picture up right now. These are the Freeway blaster horns. Now there's actually 4 of them. 2 of them are low tone and 2 are high tone. Now the high tone ones really don't matter that much to motorcycles. They're actually more intended for cars. But these ones here on the low tones, and the one on the left is the 125 decibel horn, and the one on the right is a 130 decibel horn. And I happen to have the 130 decibel horn on my bike and my wife's bike, and it makes a world of difference as far as how the horns sound. So I'm just going to take that stock horn off my wife's bike and I'll compare it to the large horn. So I'll be back in a second. The stock Honda horn off, and as you can see here, it's your typical motorcycle horn, little flat dish, not very small, and actually very heavy. I'm really surprised. Now this is a 130 decibel Freeway blaster horn. So if you look at the actual size here, they're pretty close. The difference is, of course, in the slim line here. The Honda horn is actually way more compact. This is actually a lot bulkier. But the big difference is it has this trumpet here. And this trumpet is what gives it its volume, which gives you an idea how loud the sound can actually be passed through the system. It comes with all the mounting brackets that you can play around with stuff to make them actually fit in the standard place. On a sport bike, I believe on my RC, I didn't even have to reposition it. It actually fit in the stock place. On my wife's motorcycle, all I actually had to do was just put the plate in a vise and give it a slight twist to make it sit where I want it to sit. And because it's black on black, you don't really notice it. It's not some big, ugly, monstrous item here. It's something you don't really notice until you actually use it. And that's what I like. Reliability wise, I've had these horns for years. I first used them on my previous bike, a Honda NT650, and I used it for about 6-7 years, and I never had a problem with it. Drove in all kinds of weather, and it functioned flawlessly. And that's actually the only bike I've ever actually had to use it to keep a car from running me off the road, and it more than earned its keep when I used it. Price-wise, I'm just going to quote Canadian prices here. So I bought this 130 decibel horn. I checked today; it's $19. The 125 decibel horn, which is slightly quieter, is $16. And if you go on Amazon and other places in the U.S., they have Harbor Freight. In Canada, we have a place called Princess Auto. They sell them between $16 and $20. So what I've done is I've just put the 125 decibel horn on my wife's bike temporarily, just so you can hear the difference in sound between the stock Honda and the 125. Now, you remember is that we're hearing this through a motorcycle helmet, so it's not quite as loud as you normally would hear it, but it's still a lot louder. So what we've done there is we've turned what was a motorcycle to sounding almost like something a little bit bigger, like maybe a car or a small SUV, which definitely would get a car driver's attention if they made an unsafe lane change or tried to pull out of an intersection without looking. Okay, so I've got the 130 decibel horn back on my wife's bike, so you can actually hear how it sounds. And it's actually installed the way I normally have it. And it's only marginally louder, as far as I can tell, but you know, I imagine if you use a sound meter, you'd be able to see how much louder it would be. The one thing I do when I do install it is I actually have the trumpet facing down, because if you're not careful how you install it, of course, if the trumpet's facing up, any moisture, snow, dirt, whatever is going to collect in the trumpet and probably damage it. So having the trumpet part facing down, it means it's going to naturally drain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pop down here and give you guys a gander as to how it looks. Give us a little extra light. So you can see although it's a little bit bigger than stock, it does fit very nicely, and unless I really pointed it out, you wouldn't notice it among the black of the frame of the bike and whatnot. Doesn't interfere with the suspension, the steering, the fender, the brakes, anything like that. On a sport bike, you might have to fudge it around a little bit. I know on the RC, I think it's about 2 inches from where it was the factory installation was. Didn't have to extend any of the leads for the horn connection, and it works really well. So anyways, hope you enjoyed my little video. Hope you ride safe, and hopefully I'll actually be able to start riding my motorcycle in another month or so. I wish winter would end. It is so depressing. Bye for now.